Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another great edition of Racers News Network Live. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to dive into the Lucas Oil stuff a little bit. We're going to talk some results from the Gators, the Baby Gators. I almost said the Gator Nationals, but those are coming up next week.
That's next week.
That's next week. It was a pretty good kickoff to the 2023 season. Even though, I mean, in all reality, it got rolling in Orlando, but for some reason, this just feels like the season is officially rolling right now. We're going to dive into that in a little while. Joining us in about 7 or 8 minutes is going to be Danielle Alexis. She works at Quaker City. She had some health issues. Had reached out to her and kind of talked to her a little bit. And she's going to come on and just let us know how everything's going. And then we have a special guest about 7:30 going to be joining us from Florida to dive into the whole Gator Nationals thing. Excuse me, Baby Gators. There, I did it again. But I think what we'll do, if you're all right with it, Pete, well, let's save the results for when we get into the Baby Gators later on. How you been, buddy? You're back. You're on your bike.
Good. We're back. We seem to be back on the every other week schedule. I think this makes it 2 in a row of not canceling on you, so we're good.
Very good, very good. So a lot of stuff came out this past week. Obviously, one of the first things is Wright Trailers has re-signed to sponsor the junior championships at Bristol this summer. So that's awesome for the junior kids to have that support of Wright Trailers.
Did you lock up on us?
Nope, I'm still here.
Okay.
My face, the Max Headroom thing is taken over, but my lovely voice is still here. And then of course some changes in the contingency program with Lucas Oil came out over the weekend. And why don't we dive into that for a few minutes, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, it's, obviously whenever you lose contingency potential, it stings a little. And you never want to see a company leave, especially one that you really liked and you supported. With the Lucas company, it's a really slippery slope because a lot of people want to be mad about it. But they also have to realize that it's still the Lucas Oil Sportsman Series, which means they're still putting a ton of money into the sport that we do. So even though we're not going to get Lucas money when we win or runner up, right now, the reason why we can race is because of them. Not to say that if they pulled out completely, we wouldn't be racing. But at the end of the day, it's still the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series that we compete in. So I'm sure that requires a lot of money. I'm personally grateful that they didn't pull the plug on everything, especially this early in the year, because I would imagine that would be a nightmare for NHRA if they had to deal with that 5 minutes before the season starts.
Right.
So, one of the reasons why I picked the background that I did is because, as you can see over my left shoulder, I don't know what it looks like on the screen, but you see the direct cabinet sales on the side of my car. And when Rich and I lost that sponsorship, I should say when Rich lost it, obviously I couldn't fly it anymore. And, it's easy to say, this is BS. They bailed on us, screw them. But in all reality, they were with Rich for a very long time. And then Rich hooked me up with them, and I had them for at least 2 years. And at the end of the day, I was racing with them or without them. Okay. Because they wanted their name on the side of my car, it made racing a lot easier for me. And when I say easier, obviously, I mean financially. They helped me with something that I was going to do no matter what. So whether they were on the side of my car or not, I was still going. I was still spending the money obviously for the 2 years that they were on the side of my car, it was a lot easier to spend some of their money than all of mine. So for that, I'm grateful. And that's kind of how I'm looking at the whole Lucas Oil thing. I mean, I was fortunate enough to uh, cash in on contingency for them at least two times that I could think of. It might have been three. And again, it's whether they're there or not. I was doing it anyway. So if I got the checks in the mail, great. If I didn't, it didn't change me winning. It didn't change my financial portfolio, but it was just nice to have. So I'm going to say the same thing about Lucas that I did with direct cabinet sales. Thank you for all you did. And, hopefully if things change, we'll be able to do it again in the future.
Absolutely. And after I thought about it, I thought about these names that have recently joined us here. Of course,
Right.
I'm talking about TSR Race Products, Blackburn Engineering, obviously Pete and Straight Line Performance, Hoops, Fire Prevention, and Duzen, who was part of the first annual award show that we did.
Yep.
Made me rethink my stand on it.
Yep. Yep.
And,
As soon
it
as
was
you
just,
started that sentence, I knew where you were going with this.
yeah. Um, and it's the same thing. I'm gonna go to the races that I'm able to get to, whether I wanted to or not. But
Right.
having these companies support me, us, the show,
Yep.
definitely makes it a lot easier because we can do a lot more stuff and it
Right.
doesn't come out of our pocket. Um, it
And
sits
in the same token, if one of these sponsors called us next year and said they couldn't afford to support us that year, right, it would be sad to see them go. But the last thing we would do is not support them or talk poorly about them. Because who knows, 2024, 2025, they might come back.
yeah,
You don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so you're grateful for what you get, and you hope that it can continue in the future. But if it doesn't, you also got to understand. I mean, that's part of the business, right?
right. And we're lucky in the position that we're in that we can do the things that we've done in the past and we will continue to do in the future. But like I said, it definitely it makes things a lot easier for the both of us.
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt.
So, was like you said, if down the road one of them says, "All right, well, I gotta sit on this for another year or two and see if I want to try it again,"
Yeah,
shake hands,
yeah,
say thank you very
and
much.
you
I
know what?
appreciate
Like
your support.
the point that you just made is, we're fortunate enough where we don't. I don't want to say we don't need the sponsorship because you obviously need it, but we're fortunate enough that no matter what, the show is going to go on, right?
Yep.
Just like I said, no matter what, I'm still going racing,
Yep.
with or without a sponsor on the side of my car. Short of my wife no longer sponsoring me, I'm going racing, so it doesn't matter. And I'm saying that because she's sitting right across from me. So,
Library.
so I mean, we're doing it no matter what. If people jump on board to help us, it's greatly appreciated, and it definitely makes our life a whole heck of a lot easier. But if you're able to help and then you're not able to help, we get it. We understand, and we're grateful for $1 or $1,000. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. It's the same appreciation across the board.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'll be completely honest, I'm not a big market person. As far as watching, the job stuff and the economy and things like that.
Sure.
But I sit back and I listen to people like you and your friends who I'm friends with a lot of the same people.
Yep.
And I take it in and go, all right, well, we're lucky for what we have then
Right. Right.
in this day and time.
I mean, if you look back, I mean, I remember racing when Lucas had very little involvement or no involvement at all. And if you look back on those days and how they ramped in, I mean, I would love to know a dollar amount, but I would venture to say from day one till now, if everyone knew the amount of money that they pumped into, forget about all of motorsports, just NHRA. And if you want to take it one step further than that, just the amount of money that they pumped into sportsman racing alone, that how anyone, if they decide to pull back just a little bit, how anyone could get upset after all they've done for so many years, it's mind-boggling to me. But I also understand that it's a knee-jerk reaction. And, after I would think most people sit down and think about it, they'll come to their senses and say, you know what, they've done a ton. We've got nothing to complain about. I'm not
Right.
trying to stick you out personally, Chris, but you
No, I
definitely fit
know.
the bill.
I'm the one diving right into that one.
No, I mean, like it's easy to have a knee jerk reaction, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think sportsman racing would be nearly as far along as we are without the help of the Lucas family. So,
Right. And it's not just drag racing. They're involved into. They were involved in. I think it was the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League,
right.
um, which they're not involved in anymore, as far as I know. And numerous other sports, the off road racing, things of that nature.
Yep.
Um, so they have their hands in numerous pies, as the saying goes.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, for a company like them, this could also be a feeling out process too, right? You jump out of one a little bit, you jump into another, you see what your ROI is going to something else. If it doesn't work out and people don't make complete fools out of themselves, it's very good chance that they could come back. And again, I'm not
I
trying to
know, I
stick
know,
you
I
out.
know.
We saw a lot of comments and a lot of people saying not so nice things, and it's I'm not going to fault anybody for it, but I would hope that after you sit back and think about it for a little while, you realize how heavily involved they still are. And you think the grass is always greener, and then you go on it, maybe it's not. Uh, I'd love to see him come back in full force someday, so hopefully they will.
Yep. And where their offices are located in and around the Indianapolis area, they drive a couple miles down the road. They have the biggest race in the country,
Yep.
not the world. That their name is plastered all over.
Sure.
Of course, I'm talking about Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen in my life, as far as car stuff goes, is the first year that I went to PRI, I went into Lucas Oil Stadium, and the Colts play there, and you walk into the stadium, and the last thing you expect to see is a football team in that stadium. I mean, there's top fuel dragsters crisscrossed and you walk under, and then they've got the exploited view of the top fuel engine that I still don't know how the hell they blew this whole thing up, and it's hanging by strings and all the parts, and it comes up on my Facebook memories every year, and I'm still amazed looking at it. And it's probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago now, since the first time I've seen it. So I mean, they've just done so much that I'll have a tough time saying anything bad about them if they don't send me a $150 check for winning a race.
Right. All right. So I haven't been able to make contact with our first guest. So that's
Okay.
okay. Tried. No joy. I did make contact earlier today, but that's nothing now. So, bear with me for just one sec. There was
Well,
one
you know what?
race.
While we're talking about contingency,
Go ahead.
you had sent me a link, and I'll be completely honest with you. When you sent it to me, I was running around and I didn't have much of a chance to read it, but it looked like if you click on a link for NHRA, you could pick what contingency stickers you would like. Obviously, it's the ones you qualify for by buying the product. And for $30, NHRA will send you the official legal stickers. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah, again, because drag racers love to piss and moan about everything that they possibly can. I've seen a lot of people resist this for some reason. And again, I really didn't check into it, but let's pick Lucas Oil, for example. Let's say that they're still participating in the contingency. If you go on their website and you look at the official sticker, because companies change their stickers and they want you to update the stickers on your car in order to get paid, right? It's been happening since the beginning of time.
Yep.
So you could go on their website, and if you have their sticker, it's on your car. You don't have to purchase the stickers through NHRA to qualify for the contingency. The way I was looking at it was NHRA was just making it easier for you for a very small fee to get the stickers that you want instead of having to hunt down all the vendors that you would normally get them from. And hopefully, if people are listening, they could either tell me I'm right or tell me I'm wrong and what I'm wrong about. But to me, this is a dream. For $30, I go on, I check off all the companies that I qualify for. I get the stickers in the mail, I stick them on the car, and I'm done. I mean, that to me is so much easier than, calling up TSR, calling up Duzen, calling up Hoops, making sure that I have the right stickers, having them mail them to me, having to pay for postage. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer, but you still have people complaining about it for whatever reason, unless I'm missing something and my facts aren't right. That's the only variable there, but I think it's great.
All right, I can double check that just so we know for a fact that we're giving out the correct information. Bear with me.
Yep.
It was our buddy, the Porsche man, that put it up.
Yep.
I just gotta. Again,
He
I've
must
got.
have put it up under his wife's account because he doesn't have
No, it's not on Facebook.
that.
It's elsewhere in the racing universe. While I'm doing this, Rob has a waffle, a Facebook waffle going. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because I noticed you put your name in on it.
That would be a waffle if you wanted it
Waffle.
to be politically correct.
Waffle, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, basically, and it's the same thing that Brian Hansberry is doing for the dues and triple tens. It's basically you throw a couple of bucks at it in hopes to get a free entry. I mean, I tried it with the Duzen. Of course, I didn't win. And then today I did it with the Stein race. And listen, if you could win, it's great. But it also helps out a good cause, right? It gets some money rolling for the promoters of the race, and you get a shot at getting it for free. And well, not for free, for the price of the waffle. But yeah, it's when you're sitting at home and you're itching to go racing, and you throw a couple of bucks at something in hopes to winning, just kind of makes the winter go by.
All right. Just discovered about contingency. So now they no longer have to have toolboxes full of decals for the racers. They have a place at the trailer where you can scan and it will send you a link to NHRA to request the decals at a flat rate of $30 per shipment. Verbatim.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess I understand what people are pissed off about, because something that you used to be able to walk into the trailer and just grab the stickers off the wall, now you got to pay for
Right.
them. I will tell you that me personally, I never had any luck with the stickers on the wall. I would get like 4 of them that would apply to me, and all the rest I would have, because they didn't have every single sticker of everyone that does contingencies. I'm guessing it would probably be close to impossible for NHRA to maintain that. So for me, it was, oh, well, look, they have Moroso, I'll grab that, but they don't have JW or whoever. I don't want to stick a company out, but whoever. I would always wind up with about 10% of the stickers that I actually needed. And that's not against NHRA, but it's got to be almost impossible to keep all the stickers of every company in stock all the time. 7 divisions, 23 national events, so on and so on.
Right.
So I do get where people might get a little frustrated where it used to be for free, but you know what? For $30 to be able to run down a checklist and get every single sticker that I need, it's for me, it's a no-brainer.
Sign you up, right?
Yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, at some point this week, I'll probably do that. As much as it pains me to put stickers on the side of my car, I'm coming up on like the 10-year anniversary of winning a race, so I'm due. So I'd hate to knock one down and not have any stickers on the side of the car.
That'll be the one time you miss out on a couple
Exactly, and it
prizes.
happened once. I did win a race, and I had like 6 stickers on the car.
Yep.
So whatever.
So while we're waiting on guest number 2, I just messaged him. Let's talk a little bit of Gator Nationals. What do you think about the racing in Rainsville, as you said yesterday or over the weekend?
The only thing that I'm not overly thrilled about is the lower car quotas. Other than that, I mean, Jesus, the last I looked, 21 top alcohol dragsters are going to be there, which
There's
is
going to be some bumping.
that's an insane number to me. That brings me back to the Englishtown days when I used to go watch the national events when I was, late teens, early 20s. And the highlight of my weekend was watching Pro Stock on a Friday night to watch, 23 cars, 24 cars try to get into a 16-car field because Friday night's always fast and they're letting it all hang out to try and get in. That's kind of reminiscent of those days. So it's cool. I mean, I think drag racing's still going strong. First year that they're starting in Florida, first year that I know of anyway. It's cool. They're shaking it up, and I think it's pretty cool.
And then the racers that want to head north just have to go to Georgia for the next divisional the weekend after.
Right. It's you got the Baby Gators and the Gators back to back. Then you on a very short haul, you could go hit another divisional in Georgia. They had Orlando a couple of weeks before, so it's almost like they're kind of paying attention to the expense of traveling, and they're trying to accommodate as best they can. Now, I don't really think they could say that for the national circuit because, God, I've seen some of these events and where these teams have to go, but you know what? I'm not a professional racer, so
yeah,
whatever.
the zigzagging would definitely suck.
Yeah, I mean, it always amazed me as to why they don't, like make a circle and just kind of go around or like hit 3 or 4 races on the East Coast and then hit the middle of the country. I mean, these guys go back and forth like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So I just pulled up the entry list for the Gator Nationals.
Yep.
17 top fuel dragsters, 16 funny cars, so there won't be a bump in that.
There. Yep.
20 pro stockers.
That's a big number.
20 pro stock bikes.
That's a big number too.
19 pro mods.
Now, not to cut you off, but pro mod, is it a 16-car field or an 8-car field?
That I honestly do not know the answer to.
And I'm going to be asking you questions about a couple other classes too. Top alcohol dragster. I believe that's an 8-car field.
I think you're right, and you know what? I will message somebody smarter than both of us, and she can
Yep,
tell
yep.
us the answer.
Which that's not very hard. You could message the floor and I'd be smarter than both of us. But could you imagine 13 cars getting bumped from top alcohol funny car at the Gator? I'm sorry, dragster at the Gators.
Oh,
That's
no.
insane.
Sorry, I tend to talk and type, talk as I type. All right, so just wait for her to answer back. She, Miss Nobile, Mrs. Nobile always does.
Oh yeah, funny
Do.
car, top alcohol
You know
funny
what?
car.
I am tempted to say it's 8 cars, but I don't want to give out the wrong answer.
Right.
But there's 9 top alcohol funny cars,
Yep.
23 for comp.
Top
51,
is all run, I believe.
yeah, 51 super stock, 50 stock, 50 super comp, 50 super gas, 40 super street, 33 top sportsman on a quota of 36, and 25 factory cars.
I mean, that is so. Give us the numbers at the bottom of quotas and entries.
All right, quota 276.
Yep.
Total entries 445.
Oh my God, that's insane.
So 170 cars over quota, essentially
And
169.
you know what? I piss and moan about the lower quotas, but that's a lot of friggin' cars to get down the track.
Yep. Yeah, and you're, as you well know, now that you're a property owner, about 3:15, that's usually when it starts to rain for 15-20 minutes.
Yep.
It happened to them over the weekend.
Right.
Had a little misting, they had some legitimate rain, and the water table is so high in the state of Florida, it's only like
Right.
what, about 2 feet. One good rainstorm, they are seriously screwed.
Yeah, and we're coming up on the rain season in Florida too, so it's
Yep. Yeah, all you homeowners have to have your green grass for the summer, so it's gonna start raining like any minute.
Well, we got sprinkler systems for that. We're not worried.
No bragging in there.
I'll tell you what, I'm still not used to the grass. It looks nice and green, but
Isn't
if
the-
you decide to walk on it barefoot, you're gonna need stitches by the time you get to the other end of your lawn.
I was gonna
It's
say,
like,
isn't it the
oh my
funkiest
God, it's like
red
a friggin'
grass in the
Brillo
world?
pad.
All the times we've been to Disney World, man, that's the I was like, the first time we went as a family when Elijah was a little guy,
Yep.
we get to the resort, and I'm like, oh man, you know how many years it's been since I walked across the grass, no shoes on.
Right.
I made it like 7 steps, and I turned around and did big. Luckily, I have big, long legs.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Was able to cut my my steps in half.
Yeah, that stuff is no joke.
Nope. All right, now we're waiting for guest number 2,
We don't
Mr.
know.
D. Pascal.
My wife is asking me what happened to guest number 1. We don't know. She probably has computer issues like we do, if I had to guess.
Hey, you've been doing good.
Not bad, not bad.
Yep.
I'm setting up. This is the first time I've done the show on this laptop, so I had to download Zoom and all that. And my wife was like, "Are you okay? Do you need help? Get it?"
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Mr. D. Pascal,
Oh, you gave it away.
I did. I decided to cave into the dark side.
Oh my God. We no. My wife said, "Is it Tommy or Chris?" We can't be lucky enough for it to be Tommy. It's got to be.
All right. So let's hit the results from the Baby Gators. Going to start it off with the one of the classes I love, but yet gives me a gigantic headache all at the same time. Of course, I'm talking about competition eliminator. Your winner, David Eaton over Jim Greenheck. Greenheck goes red to give Eaton the win. Dave Eaton with his 11th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. Superstock, Nick Morris over Ronnie Huntsberry. Morris with the starting line advantage in the win. Margin of victory, approximately 3 feet. Nick Morris wins his 6th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. Stock Eliminator, in the former Moser competition Corvette, Tyler Bohannon over Jeff Warren. Bohannon with the starting line advantage and the win, won his 5th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. And Super Comp, my friend.
Yes. So Junior Houston defeats John LaBouse, and I have to tell you, that is not something that's easy to do. Now I'm going to see if you guys notice a little trend here. Super Comp, both drivers had a 10 light. Houston goes 892 with a 7, LaBouse 894 with a 4. That's pretty much how that one ended up. So we move to Super Gas 990. Both drivers have a 26 light. So in the finals in Super Comp and in the finals in Super Gas, both drivers had identical lights leaving the starting line. Sherman Adcock beats Joey Ship. I kind of like saying that name, Sherman Adcock. Sherman goes 991 with a 5 to Joey's little too quick 989 with a 6. Sherman gets his 27th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. Very impressive. On the Super Street and the 1090 cars, we don't have matching reaction times on this one. Mike Griggs defeats Rudy Matthews. Mike's 14 light, 97 with an O, defeats Rudy's 33 light, 1101 with a 1. And that was Mike Griggs' 9th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally.
All right. Picking it up with Top Sportsman. Rich Smith over John. I don't know if it's Benoit or if it's Benoit. What would your guess be?
Benoit? I think it's Benoit.
Is it Benoit?
Yeah, I think so.
Some in the French pronunciation say Benoit, but we'll go with Benoit.
If he has an issue with it, he could come on the show and yell at us because clearly we're short for guests. So
yeah, we're not sure. I'm doing my job. Whatever. Leave me alone. Benoit with the starting line advantage, but Smith runs dead on with a 2 for the win. Rich Smith's margin of victory about 4 feet. Smith with his fourth Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally. Final round of the top dragster elimination class, again at the Baby Gators. Jeff Strickland over Vance Houston. Strickland with a great light in the win. Margin of victory about 2 feet. And Jeff Strickland, I knew I saw 28. Jeff Strickland won his 28th Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series Wally.
That's a lot of hardware between a couple of drivers that we just announced.
Yeah, 55 Wallies between those two guys.
Not some bad days at the office there, huh?
Not at all. Wrapping it up with top alcohol dragster Julie Natas over Cody Crone, and top alcohol funny car New Englander Matt Gill over Bob McCosh in top alcohol funny car. You want to try texting him?
Sure.
Because then we can tell him all the nice things you said about him about working in a 4-day, 10-hour day work week, and
you could only imagine what this text is going to say, right?
Where the blankety blank are you, you blanker? Get the blank on your blankety blank and blank blank and
Are there any people watching? Any comments, any questions?
oh, comments and questions. Why do we continue to do this insanity?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gonna wind up being like an open mic night.
yep. Aaron Shat just waving at us.
Yeah.
Hi, Aaron. So while we're waiting to hear back from Mr. D. Pascal, we did make a donation to Racers for Christ a couple weeks ago. I was going through a bunch of stuff and found a whole bunch of the Will Strong stickers left and actually sold them, and all the money that I got from selling them I donated to RFC because they did a lot for the Monroe family immediately following that accident at Cecil.
Awesome.
So I thought that was a cool thing to do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. Good stuff.
yep.
I'm looking forward to meeting all these people this year that we've talked about for the whole winter and everything.
I want to meet you too. I told him, you have no
Yeah.
idea what you're getting yourself
Don't get
into.
over that quick.
I was like, you want to meet his wife? She's much nicer.
Exactly. Exactly. Makes better drinks and everything.
Oh,
I hear something.
oh, it's my wife. I think. Oh, that from Taylor Nobile. 8 was last weekend. It's going to be 16.
Okay. So 16 for a national event. That's still 5 that are going to go home.
Yep.
And boy, Funny Car's coming up really short there, huh?
Yes, they are. Funny Cars, they've had a rough go of it, and even the guys and the girls that run them say, it's tough. So
Am I right in saying that they're allowing nitro injected, non-supercharged in Funny Car this year?
as far as I know, actually, I reached out prior to when everybody headed south for the Baby Gators to a friend of ours that races Top Alcohol Funny Car, and we're gonna get together and set up a time for him to come on and give us a little education on that. And it's actually one question I did not ask him though.
Yeah,
So
I'm almost positive that they were gonna do that. That was always, I always wondered why that you had the option in Dragster, you didn't have the option in Funny Car. I'm guessing now with the numbers not being as strong in Funny Car, they're trying to do something to shake it up a little bit. So
yeah, beef up the field a little bit. Let's do this. It would appear to me that every car in Top Alcohol Funny Car that's registered for the Gator Nationals is a blower car,
okay.
judging simply by the cubic inch of the engines. So, because I think the injected are restricted to 400 and something.
Oh,
cubic
okay. I didn't know that.
I believe. I could be wrong. I don't know for sure. Well, let's do a little contrast and compare here then.
You could go on to the entry list for Dragster.
That's what I'm doing right now. I just did, yeah.
We know a couple people that we know are definitely injected.
Yeah. So yeah, most of the injected cars are in the 430-ish, 420 to 430-ish cubic inch displacement.
Okay.
But of course, Tom Fox Jr., who is a blower car, I know that, is a 468. So. All right, come on, Chris. Where are you?
He's got about 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna call this an early show.
We're gonna raise the flag.
He's in Florida, right? Didn't they stay for the week?
Yeah, he raced at the Baby Gators, and he's on
Right.
the entry list for Super Street for the Gator Nationals.
Yep.
So yeah, because I checked in with him the other day. Actually, I checked in with him today too. But that's all right. I mean, obviously, if we're in Florida, I would much rather be at Disney or wherever at a nice restaurant than
Sitting in a lawn chair or something.
yep, or at the beach watching the world go by.
Yep.
All right, we'll give him till 7:45. Then we'll
That's a
call it.
minute.
Yep. While we're doing that, I'm gonna get I have this cool little storage thing on my walker. I keep stuff in it. I just can't reach it. There we go. Front wheel drive stalkers. Aren't they the coolest thing ever?
Okay. You know what, Chris? That's the beauty of all the categories and all the different cars that run it. There's something for everybody.
I love the underdog front wheel drive cars in stock eliminator. It's awesome. I remember a couple years, 5-6 years ago, at the US Nationals, I cannot for the life of me remember the guy's name, but Ford Escort, he went deep into the rounds.
I do. I actually remember that. I remember talking about that with you.
Yep. And that always made me laugh, just up, 16-second car, the other day watching on, what was it, Friday or Saturday, from Gainesville, General John Riley in a yellow Oldsmobile. I don't know what kind of Oldsmobile, front wheel drive, up against Victor Cagnazzi. And of course, Cagnazzi ended up blowing the tires right off at the hit. But it was just, an 8-second factory stalker up against a 15-16-second.
That's a long time to sit there and wait, boy.
Can you imagine just sitting there for 7-8 seconds watching your competitor
Nope.
mosey on down the road? All right. Coming up next week, Shelby Ebert's going to come on and talk about a little hydroplane drag boat racing. We're going to learn something new. So that'd be cool. On the 21st, Tim and Linda Barrett are going to join us, Division I stock eliminator racer, and his awesome wife, who is a 3-time defending champion in the battle of cancer. She kicked its butt and knocked it down 3 times.
Good for her.
And then on the 28th, and I wanted to make sure this was on a night you were here. A lot of stuff about safety. We're going to do some learning from a new company called MERV, MERV Safety. They made a new style of head and neck restraint system. And it just, from what I read today, it got the SFI approval. It's got a shock absorber on it. So I'm hoping that he has one on it. Has one in his hand when he comes on to show us it, and they'll be coming on to talk about that. So I thought that was pretty cool. April 4th, Lorenzo Martin from North Carolina. I said Florida the last time. I was wrong. North Carolina. Gonna come on and talk some bracket racing. And on April 11th, Capri Wesley out of Florida is going to come on and join us as well. I think you're going to be on spring break, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, what date is that?
April 11th.
Yeah, I'm gonna be down south. You said that guest is from Florida. Maybe we can do a live interview.
And she's from the west coast of Florida.
Hey, we're pretty close.
There you go. So, working on a few other things. Gonna talk to John Riley, get him on and talk about what it's like to drive the underdogs of the stock eliminator world. Like I said, I just think those are the coolest things ever. I do apologize for our two guests not being able to join us, but that's all right. Life gets in the way sometimes.
Life happens, yeah, without a doubt.
Yep.
We gotta haunt the Eastburns too, because I'd like to get one of them on the show.
Yep, I actually made contact with Jeff, and we're working on getting one of his kids to come on. His children run the business now.
Yep.
So he wants them to come on and get the accolades and talk about what they got going on with their program. Because they're not only involved with us, they're involved with Mid-Atlantic .90 as well.
Very cool.
Yep. So that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is how we do that. We don't always do it right, but we get it done.
We do something.
We do something, even if it's wrong half the time. But thank you to TSR Racing Products, Blackburn Engineering, Duzen LLC, Hoops Fire Prevention, of course, my man, Straight Line Performance and Automotive, Peter Senka, coming on, hanging out, having a little fun, talking a little trash, and that's all right.
Absolutely. You should hear all the trash that we talked before we went live.
Oh, yeah, I could just imagine the stuff he says when I'm not even around, and that's okay. Oh, and I was told to tell you.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, this is from the boss out there. Her words. She's holding your shirt ransom until I get my parts.
I'll go buy my own shirt. I'm getting ready to fire up the tank again. I'm kind of almost sort of caught up at the shop and it's working again. And I got a couple things lined up. So it's coming.
All right.
I got some pink daisies all ready to dip on the parts for you.
There you go. All right. Very cool. I'm just hassling you because I have to. It's fun. It's who we are and it's what we do.
Part of the job.
It is. All right, gang. We're out of here. Pete, have a great night. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
All right, everybody. See ya. We're off.
See you guys.
Be back next week at 7:00 Eastern time. Be sure to tune in. Check us out every week. Right here. See you.